And for more on tonight's speech from the former president, we'd like to welcome in Chris Hahn, NewsNation political contributor and host of the Aggressive Progressive podcast, and Republican political analyst Paris Dennard. Gentlemen, thank you both for being here. First, let's just get your reactions to Donald Trump's speech tonight, and we'll start with you, Chris.
So, look, I mean, it's a typical Trump speech. I think he was a little bit more disciplined than normal in not attacking his opponents because, quite frankly, he's far ahead of them in the Republican primary. He's far ahead of them in that room for sure. And if you're starting to look at national polls, Ron DeSantis is registering in the 20s and 30s, and once in a while you see him close to him. But I don't even believe that. I think Donald Trump has an easy path at the moment to the Republican nomination. So it was a little bit more disciplined than normal, not taking those shots because he didn't really need to.
Paris, do you agree? And what is your reaction to his remarks tonight?
Yeah, to a certain extent, I do agree that this is a different style for President Trump. He is giving a more disciplined style of remarks. It's been consistent since he announced. I don't think that he does need to take the time to address other people who have gotten into the race or those who are have been speculated to get into the race because he is the front runner. At this point, he continues to lead poll after poll to be the Republican nominee for president again. And so what he needs to do and what he is doing is talking about what he has done in the past as president and what he wants to do in the future as president.
And Trump did go over the usual talking points during this lengthy speech. He talked about the border. He hit on the economy, on President Biden. Did anything stand out to either of you as different for the former president? And Paris, we'll start with you.
I think his tone was different. But I think that overall, I think it was the same style that in terms of what he laid out that the people want to hear in the room and that are a part of the Republican base. They want to hear the successes that he had as a stark contrast to the failures that we're getting under Biden today. And they want to hear how he is going to be such a different type of leader than we've gotten under the Biden administration, because that's really who he knows he's going to be going up against should he be the nominee.
Chris, was this a more toned down version of Trump, or is that going too far?
I think it's going a little bit too far. I mean, the retribution line, I think, is going to get a lot of attention the next couple of weeks. What do you mean by that? It is a frightening line when you think about it. And it's more of the same. I'm great. Just ignore that last year of my presidency where the economy collapsed and 1 million Americans died on my watch. But other than that, I'm great. Look, he doesn't have a problem in the Republican primary, in my opinion. He has a problem in a general election. The last 2 cycles have been devastating for the MAGA base of the Republican Party. They haven't been able to win elections like they did in 2016. And it's because he is saying the same thing over and over again. And he doesn't really have anything to back it up. And his successes are really in the eye of the beholder, and they are not seen by everyone.
Paris, what about DeSantis skipping this event entirely? What kind of message is that trying to send?
I don't think it's sending any type of direct message. Governor DeSantis spoke at CPAC 2022 when it was held in Florida, because CPAC has had multiple CPACs last year. He's not a declared candidate. There was another event that was taking place in Florida that he's attending for Club for Growth. Those persons who are declared to be running for president were present. Nikki Haley was there, and the other gentleman who's announced, he was present as well. Well, the gentleman who announced was present, and Mike Pompeo, who's rumored to be running, he was there. So I wouldn't read too much into it. DeSantis understands he has a strong following in the Republican Party. He's the only one that consistently shows up in the double digits in terms of polling, be it the CPAC straw poll or other polls that have been taken. And so he doesn't have to go to every single event where Donald Trump is, the former president, is appearing. I wouldn't read too much into it at all.
Chris, one of the biggest surprises coming out of the CPAC straw poll today, relatively unknown Perry Johnson, that Michigan businessman, outvoting Nikki Haley. Is this a sign of things to come for the former South Carolina governor, or did Johnson just benefit from setting up shop at the conference?
I think he benefited from setting up shop. I think it's a mistake for Republicans to ignore Nikki Haley. She is the most electable of the bunch, in my opinion. She is a positive sounding conservative whose backstory will appeal across party lines. I happen to think she's an excellent candidate for president. I'd be more worried about her than anybody else running, including Ron DeSantis, if I was Joe Biden.
Oh, Paris, quick response. Is Nikki Haley the most electable of the bunch?
Well, not everyone has gotten in. And I think that we have a strong Republican bench that's stronger than any Democrat that's going to announce, and it's certainly stronger than Joe Biden. And so I'm positive that the strength of our bench is going to be the making of a very exciting Republican primary.
All right, gentlemen, thank you both for your time. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.